examination coaching for UPSC, CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC combined graduate level, and CLAT examinations. So do visit AKS IAS Academy and its website. About me, I am Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, and my credentials are: I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I teach international relations and internal security and analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session will certainly help you to crack prelims and mains examinations, because throughout the session I would be emphasizing on two, that is, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases. So these two are the key for all the civil servant aspirants to clear the prelims, because by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, I will make you understand or identify the factual, analytical, and conceptual questions which will be very important and useful for you all for the prelims examinations. So thereby my session, by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, it will help you or make you an added advantage and have an edge over others in regards to the prelims examinations. And not only in regards to the prelims examinations, this session, by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, will also be useful for you in regards to the answer writing, that is in regards to the mains examination. So when I am talking about the mains examination, so definitely your answers have to be precise and concise, and your answers would certainly be precise and concise once you are in the habit of inculcating the keywords and the key phrases in your answers. Thereby your answers would be precise and concise, and further you would be into the mode of scoring higher marks in the mains examination. So therefore my session will definitely help you to crack prelims as well as mains examinations for the year 2020 as well as 2021. And we will look at daily news analysis, that is today's, that is 5th of September 2020, and I would reiterate my tagline, that is emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases. And by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, I repeat once again, you will definitely have an edge over others in regards to the preliminary examination and also in the mains examination, and also you will be comfortably placed in the interview, that is in the personality test. So therefore the AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis will certainly be useful for you for prelims, mains and personality test, that is the interview. And before I get into the topic, that is the daily news analysis, I would say a very good morning to all who are in the live and also in the live chat. So good morning to Malvika Sajivan, Venkat Nayak, Usman B. Okay, Usman B, a warm welcome to you. I presume that you're new to this session, that is AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. Ramya Reddy, Gopi Nayak, B. Pavan Kumar, all of you, a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And my humble request is, the one who are in the live but not in the live chat, please do try to get into the live chat so that you can try to put forward your views, and so that the AKS IAS Academy daily news analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Tumala, would be a interactive session. And the quote of the day is, if you don't sacrifice for what you want. So if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes a sacrifice. For example, you have a goal, and if you are not sacrificing for your goal, so definitely your goal itself becomes, or you should sacrifice your goal. Do not make or do not get into the mode of sacrificing your goal. No, you should sacrifice the wants which you wanted to achieve. That is your final goal. So for success, you need to sacrifice few things for your long term goal or for your success. At the end, do not get into the mode that the goal or the success itself you need to sacrifice. And Yanjar Gowda BJS has also joined Nageshwar Rao, Harika Yadav. All three of you, a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And now we'll get into the topic, that is Rajnath Singh meets China's counterpart Wei in Moscow. So this is definitely in regards to, we need to focus this in regards to the scope. The keyword what we need to focus is scope. What is scope? It is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So the keyword here what we need to focus for the UPSC examination point of view is SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And before I get into that, Sports Adda has also joined. D. Suvarna has also joined. Sports Adda, is it Shanti Swarup? A warm welcome to you, Shanti Swarup, to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. So here on the sidelines of this score meet, that is in regards to the score meet, we have the news wherein we will look into from India's point of view. So India's defense minister and India's foreign minister or external affairs minister. So there were talks or meetings on the sidelines of the score, that is defense minister has met the defense minister of China, and definitely not only China, he would be meeting all the members of the SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization members, defense ministers would be meeting, and there would be discussion to make sure that how best they can go ahead with trying to have this safe and secured in regards to the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So the defense minister level talks and the foreign minister, that is external affairs minister talks, have been taken up along this scope. So here in regards to that, defense ministers, yes, defense minister Rajnath Singh has met the Chinese defense minister Wei Fenghe. So here this really has a sense of understanding that we need to look at it, because the kind of face off or the skirmish or the standoff which is being continuing since the month of May along the LAC between India and China in regards to the army along the LAC between India and China. So this is a very good initiative or a motive wherein we are going ahead with various levels of talks, but those are not really fruitful in regards to the disengagement of the troops along the LAC. So we can try to definitely use this opportunity, that is the SCO defense ministers meeting, wherein India's defense minister Rajnath Singh will definitely meet the Chinese defense minister, that is Wei Fenghe, and they could discuss on the sidelines of the SCO the importance of disengagement of the troops along the LAC to make sure that the bilateral relations between India and China would be prospering. So along with that, even the external affairs minister has also met his counterpart, that is Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. He will definitely on September 10th he will meet. So there are, again, as I said, military level engagement level talks I did say, and also I said defense or diplomatic engagement level talks, special representative engagement level talks. So these are all between India and China. These were all between India and China. Now we are taking the forum, that is the SCO, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as a platform so that we can try to resolve the issue which is still pending, that is the disengagement of the troops between India and China along the LAC can be used on the sidelines of this core. So that is very important for our conceptual understanding. So the defense minister's level talks and the external affairs minister level talks along the score, that is Shanghai Cooperation Organization, would be taken into consideration. And defense minister has made it very clear that he would, or else defense minister is on a 3-day visit to Russia, and then he would be meeting the defense ministers of the score. So all the defense ministers of the score, he will be meeting all the members, defense ministers of the members of the score he will be meeting. And not only that, he would be meeting even the collective security treaty organization. These are important for prelims point of view. IR dynamic part. So there could be a question on the in the prelims on the collective security treaty organization. Please do understand, there could be a question because our defense minister Mr. Rajnath Singh has visited Russia, and he would be meeting the defense ministers of the SCO and also the collective security treaty organization. So you need to understand this from prelims point of view. And the Commonwealth independent state. Why? Because it is the 75th anniversary of the victory of the Second World War. So on the 75th anniversary or the victory parade or the victory day celebrated in Russia by Russia in regards to the victory in the Second World War, there could be a question on this also. So the 75th anniversary of the victory in the Second World War could be also a possibility of framing a question in the prelims in IR in dynamic part, in international relations, current affairs in dynamic part. And our defense minister Rajnath Singh has emphasized on peaceful, stable and secure region of SCO. So the mention here by our defense minister is talking about the entire SCO. So he wanted a peaceful, he wanted a stable and a secure. Peaceful, stable and secure of the entire SCO member state. So definitely our defense minister is focusing on the peaceful, stable and secure of all the SCO members. And not only that, what our India is demanding is from the SCO or from the SCO members is that we are demanding a climate of trust and cooperation, and non-aggression, respect for international rules, sensitivity to each other's interest and peaceful resolution of differences. So look at it, the kind of what India is demanding from the SCO and what is that is important is these all are important keywords. So non-aggression and then respect for international rules, and also in regards to the sensitivity to each other's nations or national interest, and then the other one is peaceful resolution of differences between any two or more than two countries. So we wanted a climate of trust and cooperation, and then non-aggression, and again in regards to respect for international rules, sensitivity to each other's national interest, and then in regards to peaceful resolution of differences. So what you can try to understand here, it is almost the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence. Please do understand this. These are the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, that is Panchashil. Almost. So we are demanding that. And India is also committed. So along with the demand, we are also committed to what? Committed to global security. So we are committed to global security and architecture. So we are committed to global security and architecture. So definitely we wanted a secured world. We wanted a infrastructure developed world. That is what India is saying. And How we can achieve this global security and architecture? That should be an open, it should be transparent, it should be inclusive, that means all the countries should be part of it, and then rule based, it should be rule based, and not only that, it should be anchored to international laws. That means it should be under the purview of the international laws. So all the countries have to be maintaining, or they should stick to the international laws, and the global security and architecture should be in tune with the international laws. It should be open, transparent, it should be inclusive and rule based one. So these are all the keywords whatever I've written here: peaceful, stable, secure climate of trust and cooperation, and a non-aggression, respect for international rules, sensitivity to each other's or national interest, and then peaceful resolution of differences, and then global security and architecture, that is, it should be under the purview of international laws. The global security and architecture should be open, transparent, inclusive and rule based. So all these are what? These are all keywords which you need to certainly focus on this for the prelims point of view and also for the mains point of view. And not only that, there is a naval exercise, which is being taken up, that is called as Indra 2020 War Games. So again, this is the keyword which is important for prelims point of view. So which among the following countries have taken up the naval exercise called as Indra 2020 War Games? So it is India and Russia. Where it has taken place? In the Andaman Sea, in the Strait of Malacca. So this strait is also, again, I've said this in the past couple of weeks back. I've also said this when we were talking about the US-India military exercise. I did talk about the eastern part of Andaman Sea or Andaman Nicobar Islands. Eastern part of Andaman Nicobar Islands. I did talk about this, India and US, wherein Indian military and then US with along with US Nimitz and US Ronald Reagan, the aircraft carrier. I said the Strait of Malacca, and the Strait of Malacca is dominated by US. Strait of Malacca is dominated by US, and at this point I also mentioned about choke points in the sense wherein we can try to restrict China's influence in the Indian Ocean. Yesterday also we were talking about IOR, Indian Ocean region. So the keywords and all this we have focused, which are very, very useful for you in regards to the prelims as well as mains for international relations. And before I get into the next topic, I would say a good morning to Ram Kumar, Praveen Kumar, Prithvi Raju, Bhargav, David Paul, and in Shravani. A warm welcome to you all to AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis. And Ram Kumar says, Happy Teachers Day. Thank you very much, Ram Kumar. Harika Yadav also says, Happy Teachers Day. Thank you very much. Shravani says, Good morning and Happy Teachers Day. And thank you each and every one, all of you. And my wishes are always with you all, so that you attain success in your future endeavors. And this is the additional information which I am giving it because the defense minister and the external affairs ministers have had a chance to talk with the Chinese counterpart when the standoff is, or the face off is between India and China along the LAC at this core, that is Shanghai Cooperation. So this is again very important for prelims point of view. Static. So this is static point. Fine, for the prelims. So here what we need to focus is when it was created, fine, and what is the mission and what is the theme of Shanghai Cooperation Organization 2020. If you need to get into that mode. So it is a permanent SCO is a permanent intergovernmental international organization. This is important. Permanent intergovernmental international organization. And it was created in the year 2001. And it is an Eurasian in the sense the Europe countries plus Asia, Europe and Asia. So what is this Eurasian countries? They have come up with that they wanted to focus on political, economic and military organizations. So their focus is in regards to political, economic and military organizations. So these political and economic and military organizations are what? Why they have all come forward? Why the importance of the permanent intergovernment and international organization is definitely for the political, economic and military organizations have all come together for what? For peace, stability and security in the region. Which regions are we talking about? Eurasian region. This is important. So they have come together, the main aim. So here aim, you need to understand the aim also. So aim, when it was created, what is the mission, what is the theme? So the main aim is to maintain peace, security and stability in the region. So it was actually created or it has formed in the year 2001, but prior to that 2001, it was in the year 2006 when Soviet Union has disintegrated. I mean, after the Soviet Union disintegration, we have seen many independent countries which have been formed, and they had the issues or in regards to the peace, maintaining peace and security and stability. So they had the border issues, the demarcation and demilitarization. So these two are important keywords for the prelims. So the border demarcation after the Soviet disintegration or Soviet Union disintegration. So 5 countries have come together to make sure that they have the border demarcation, that separation and demilitarization, so that they will not go ahead with military, will not enter into the other countries and then create some kind of confusion. So they wanted peace, security and stability. For that, in the year 1996, there was a group which was set up. That group is called as Shanghai 5. This is important, Shanghai 5. Fine. So 5 countries have initially come together and then they have set up. And which are these 5 countries which have come together to make sure that they were actually in regards to the border demarcation and demilitarization. So border demarcation and demilitarization, 5 countries have come together in the year 1996. Yes, absolutely right, David. 1996, and those 5 countries are Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Tajikistan. So Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Tajikistan. Yes, the five countries. And here you have Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan. These 3 are part of Central Asian countries. So now we have how many Central Asian countries? 5 Central Asian countries. So initially 3 Central Asian countries have come together, and later on in the year 2001, part of the 3 Central Asian countries, even Uzbekistan have also joined. And then when Uzbekistan was part of the Shanghai 5, then it was renamed as Shanghai Cooperation Organization. But prior to that, its name was Shanghai 5. Only after the joining of or the new country, that is Uzbekistan, has joined, then the name of the Shanghai 5 has been renamed as Shanghai Cooperation Organization in the year 2001. And what is the other one which is again very important for dynamic point of view? Dynamic IR question for prelims is that when or in which year did India and Pakistan became the full member of SCO? So it was in the year 2017. India and Pakistan both have been part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Okay, Gopi Naik says Happy Teachers Day. Sudarshan Reddy, Happy Teachers Day. Venkat Naik, Happy David Paul also wishes Happy Teachers Day. Thank you all very much, and my wishes are all for you for the future endeavors, for success of the of yours future endeavors. And Sudarshan Reddy says, Sir, please explain sometimes in Telugu. That is the toughest one, Sudarshan. That is the toughest one, toughest job for me that I cannot uh, justify my explanation in Telugu. Yes. So this, please do focus from prelims point of view, which could be static in regards to international relations, that is regional organizations, regional groupings. In regards to the regional groupings, there could be a question. So the question could be framed in regards to the static part and then the dynamic part. Static part questions and dynamic part questions. So based on that, you have to prepare. So I have explained you. Suresh, Surender, both of you have wished, and thank you very much, both of you. My wishes are always with you for your success in your future endeavors. And here, the another news is Supreme Court rejects appeal by 6 state ministers against JEE and NEET examination. So we have been following this news that the state governments were not really happy or not ready to go ahead with conducting the undergraduate exams, or else even in regards to the JEE and NEET examinations. So what has happened is that the six non-BJP ruled states have approached the Supreme Court, that they would not conduct at this moment because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, which is increasing a lot. The number of cases are increasing. So they have approached the Supreme Court that they will not be conducting the JEE and NEET examinations. And who have approached the court? That is the ministers of from 6 non-BJP ruled states. So here what is important is ministers from 6 states which are non-BJP states, and here it is a Supreme Court verdict. So ministers have approached the Supreme Court, and not only ministers, students have also approached the Supreme Court. So look at it. A petition was also filed in the Supreme Court by the students to postpone the NEET and JEE examination. So the petition or the which was filed both by the ministers and the students, what has happened is the petition was rejected by the Supreme Court, and in regards to the petition which was filed by the students it has refused to even entertain. So it did not even entertain the petition which was filed by the students in the Supreme Court to postpone the NEET and JEE examination. And in regards to the ministers which have been filed a petition or they have petitioned in the Supreme Court was rejected. So what is important is ministers have filed the case, petitioned, and then students, and both, one is rejected, the other one is it is not been even entertained. And National Testing Agency had notified or it will conduct the examinations, and this is in regards to the NEET for the JEE examinations, and NEET is the one which conducts for the medical seats or medical examinations. This is again, it looks very simple, this one, but probably it could be a confusing question. National Testing Agency is the one which has notified or conducts the JEE examinations, and the NEET is the one which is for the medical examination, and which is supposed to take place on September 30 in regards to the NEET examinations, and the JEE from September 1st to September 9th. So already the JEE examinations are in the process. And there is another news which talks about India's COVID-19 cases crosses 4 million. So COVID-19 cases, so it has crossed 4 millions. So I've told you once, 1 million is equal to how many lakhs? Is equal to how many lakhs? So now, question mark, please do answer. So now India has become the third country with 4 million cases in the world, and the other two countries which are just above India is the USA and Brazil, or else Brazil stands first, sorry, USA stands first and Brazil stands second, and India stands third in regards to crossing over or more than COVID-19 cases which are more than 4 million. So in regards to US, it is 6.253 millions and Brazil is 4.047, and India just crossed the 4 million mark. And in regards to the death cases, so all these are in regards to the cases, COVID-19 cases. Fine. And in regards to the death cases also, India is third. In regards to death cases also, India is 100 lakhs, 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs. Yes. Suresh says 100, Gowda says 10, Gopinayak says 10, Savani says 100. Okay, 10 lakhs. 1 million, 10 lakhs. So it is 40 million, 40 lakhs now cases. Crossed 40 lakhs. Why I am saying is, see, look at this. It looks very trivial question. That means it looks this as very what do you say? Some you can use this word like foolish question. But we tend to it's not that we do not know. We tend to commit mistake. It's like a very trivial or very easy question, but there could be possibility that there could be a question being framed just to confuse the civil servant aspirant who is sitting in the examination hall. So the mindset in the examination hall will be checked. And in regards to the death cases, yes, India stands third, and then you have USA and also Brazil. So in regards to the India, it is 69,634 cases, and USA is 1.898 lakh cases, death cases, and Brazil is 1.247 lakh death cases. So here in the death cases and also in regards to the infected cases, India stands third. Brazil stands second, USA stands first. And this report is being taken up by the state governments and Johns Hopkins University. This again is important for prelims, because it is the only university which goes ahead with the, or which can be taken into consideration as the authentic report in regards to the COVID-19 tracker. In regards to the COVID-19 tracker, this keyword, please do understand. So COVID-19 tracker is being tracked by which of the following university? It is Johns Hopkins University. Johns Hopkins. Please do remember this university, Johns Hopkins University. And in regards to the the third day, each day the cases now, it has crossed 80,000 infected cases in India, and it is a third straight day. And this, if you look at the average, it is a 7-day rolling average. So highest daily case load. If you look at, they are taking into consideration of this 7 days. 7 days, if you look at the entire 7 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, the 7 days, the highest daily case load and highest registered daily toll in the world is a 7-day rolling average. So this entire world, it is a 7-day. Please do understand, it's 7 day. 1 week average if they take, they will be considering the number of cases in that 1 week, 7 days. The important thing what we need to look at is, why are the cases high? Why are we getting the cases high? So one of the reason that why the cases are high is because even the tests are high, test rates are also high. So definitely that is obvious, it is directly proportional. Whenever the tests are high, then the cases will also be it will be high. Until unless you go for testing, you cannot know how many of them the individuals are actually positive. So the tested is 11,69,765 samples tested in 24 hours. And in regards to the daily testing and the cumulative testing is always rising. The daily testing is rising and the cumulative testing is also rising. So the cumulative testing is 4 crores 66 lakhs 79,144 testing cumulative, that is completely. And in regards to the, so this is in the regards to the test and positivity or daily positivity rate. Daily COVID-19 positivity rate is now just fallen below 7.5 percentage. And if you look at the cumulative, not daily, cumulative positivity rate is 8.5 percentage. If you are taking daily, it is 7.5. Cumulative means completely overall, it is 8.5 percentage. Why I am talking about here is the keyword called as positivity rate. There could be possibility that there could be question on in the prelims based on the positivity rate. And the number of cases as per the Home Ministry, the number of cases in the ICU, that is critical unit, in regards to the COVID is 2 percentage, and the one who are oxygen supported beds, that means who are on the oxygen supported beds, the case or the cases, the number of percentage is 3.5 percentage. So in the ICUs it is comparatively less than the patients who are on support of oxygen, who are on the beds, but support of oxygen is 3.5 percentage. So why I have said this is the keywords. I will say once again, just focusing on the keywords. So the keywords what we have focused here is that highest daily case load, highest daily case load, highest cumulative case load, and then in regards to the testing rates, and then daily positive rates, cumulative positive rates, and then oxygen supported beds and ICUs. So these are all the keywords. If you can try to track these keywords or understand these keywords enough, that is enough that you will definitely arrive at the best answer in the preliminary examination. And there is another news which talks about Kaziranga set to be expanded by 3053 hectares. So here the keyword is Kaziranga National Park. This we need to focus in regards to the ecology and environment for the prelims point of view. And you can also mention a few points as a short notes in your mains examination. So it is useful for mains as well as preliminary examination, prelims point of view. So Kaziranga National Park, we have discussed about this when we have gone ahead with in regards to the Assam was flooded, river Brahmaputra was overflooding, and the overflooding of the Brahmaputra has caused inundation of Kaziranga National Park. And when the Kaziranga National Park was inundated by the continuous floods in northeastern states and especially in Assam, where you have the Kaziranga National Parks. So we have seen many of the animals have been drowned and they have been killed. And now what is the news is that we will focus is that the Assam government has approved what inclusion of 30.53 square kilometers to what? To the existing 884 square kilometers Kaziranga National Park. Please do understand. Please do understand. So, Assam government, please do not get confused in the exam if there is a question which is framed in regards to the Kaziranga National Park. So, what is important is you need to focus in regards to the national parks for prelims point of view, and then wildlife sanctuaries and bioreserves or bioreserves. So these are all very important or useful that you need to focus in regards to national parks, wildlife sanctuary, and then bioreserves, and also in regards to the tiger parks. When I'm saying tiger parks, you need to focus in regards to the tiger project also. Tiger project. Fine. So do not get confused that Kaziranga, if he is saying Arunachal Pradesh, because this is only to confuse you. There could be a question that which among the following governments have approved the addition of so and so to the existing Kaziranga National Park. It is Assam government. It is not Arunachal Pradesh. This will be your one of the options statement, but this will be only to confuse you. Not Arunachal Pradesh, not Meghalaya, not Nagaland. It is Assam government. It is Assam government. Fine. And these additional areas, that is in regards to the additional 30.53 square kilometers which has been added, it will be part of two districts. Which will be part of it, that is Nagaon and Sonitpur. Nagaon and Sonitpur would make the Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve grow to 1085 square kilometers. So inclusion of this Nagaon and then Sonitpur, two districts. Now the Kaziranga National Park Tiger Reserves. See, look at it. I was saying 884 square kilometers Kaziranga National Park. Do not get confused. It is 884 square kilometers added to that 30.53. It will be just close to 900. But you might be getting confused. Why is sir saying about now it would make the Kaziranga National Park Tiger Reserves of 1085? Because earlier I did talk about Kaziranga National Park. Now when I am saying 1085.53 square kilometers, by adding two districts, the areas of the two districts, that is Nagaon and Sonitpur, it would be 1085 square kilometers to what? Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. Please do understand. And Tiger Reserve is there. And Tiger Reserve. Do not get confused. Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve, the area is different. The area would be 1085.53 square kilometers in regards to the national park added to that Tiger Reserve. And the core area of the Kaziranga National Park Tiger Reserve is 430 square kilometers. 430 square kilometers. What do you mean by core? You have core, you have buffer. You have core area for any national park, you have buffer area also. So the core area is 430 square kilometers. Is 430 square meters, and this addition, that is in regards to 30.53 square kilometers, why the Assam government is added? They have added so that there are also including the encroachment evicted areas and suitable wildlife habitat. Please do understand these two, which are included part of the 30.53 square kilometers to the Kaziranga National Park is the areas which were part of the encroachment. Now those will be encroachment evicted. That means encroachment free evicted areas, suitable wildlife habitat. So it will be the wildlife habitat or the habitat wherein it is suitable for the wildlife habitat, which will be suitable for the wildlife. So these areas will be added to the Kaziranga National Park, and that area in addition is constituting of 30.53 square kilometers, and these areas were vulnerable to encroachment. So the areas which were vulnerable to the encroachment, those areas are now part of the addition to the 30.53 square kilometers of the Kaziranga National Park. So here what we are focused is Kaziranga National Park and Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserves. So the area of Kaziranga National Park we have discussed, that is 884 square kilometers, plus it will be 30.53 square kilometers. And in regards to the Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve, it is 1085.53 square kilometers. Fine. And the core area we have discussed, core area and buffer area, which you have it for the national parks. And before I get into the topic, Venkat Nayak has joined M. Thank you Venkat Nayak. And Shivamurthy says, good morning sir, warm welcome to you Shivamurthy. Happy Teachers Day. Thank you very much and wish you all success for your future endeavors. Harika Yadav says, floods in Assam and that I know. Yes, absolutely. Very good. Venkat Nayak, sir, not clarity to visible screen. Is it? Is it now okay? From mind, it's okay. Bhargav has also joined. Bhargav, a warm welcome to you. Happy Teachers Day, you said. Thank you very much. And then also, my best wishes for you in regards to your future endeavors, success to your future endeavors. Savani says core area, human not allowed. Absolutely, absolutely. Buffer area, if necessary, human activity will be allowed. Okay, absolutely. And the transition area, that is peripheral area. Absolutely, very well said. And why I'm saying is, those are the areas wherein there is a possibility that UPSC might focus in the prelims, or when you are writing your short notes, preparing your short notes for the mains, you can add those. You can add those. Okay, fine. Psycho has also joined. Good morning to you. I do not know who this Psycho is. Can I know the name? And a warm welcome to you to AKSIS Academy Daily News Analysis. And why this Assam government has taken this initiative to add or addition of 30.53 square kilometers is to consolidate. Please do use this keyword. To consolidate wildlife areas. So what is the main intention is to consolidate the wildlife areas from the encroachment and anticipating better wildlife conservation and reduction in human wildlife negative interaction. Please do understand, this is better wildlife conservation and reduction this I'm saying this you can take it directly as your short notes in your mains examinations. Why the Assam government has taken that move is to consolidate the wildlife areas, anticipating better wildlife conservation and reduction in human wildlife negative interaction, that is human animal conflict. Human animal conflict. So you can take this as this. So they wanted to reduce the human and animal, that is wildlife negative interaction. Negative, please do understand, that is what they wanted to remove this conflict. Negative is conflict. Negative is conflict. So that they wanted to remove it, reduce it. Okay, Rika says this news article is blurred. Is it okay now? And he added that 3 additions are habitat corridors. So they have added the habitat corridors. So you have the corridors, different corridors, and that will provide connectivity to Orang and Namerian National Park. So we will also look at Orang National Park and Nameri National Park. So along with the Kaziranga National Park, what is that you need to focus is, as I am saying, that these additions will provide the connectivity. The 30.53 square kilometers addition will provide what? Connectivity from Kaziranga National Park to Orang National Park, Kaziranga National Park to Nameri National Parks, which are the other side of the Brahmaputra river. On the other side of the Brahmaputra river, on or the besides the hills, on the hills of Karbi Anglong. Hills of Karbi Anglong. These are all very, very important for the prelims point of view. Please do understand. These are all very, very important for prelims point of view. Besides the hills of Karbi Anglong to the south of the park, where the rhino, tigers, deer and other animals take refuge during the floods. So when the flooding do take place, so these are the parks, that is Orang and Nameri National Parks, which are the other side across the river of, they cross the river and then they take this refuge or shelter in the Orang National Park and Nameri National Park, which are on the hills of Karbi Anglong. So this is important for you. This is the useful information for you, because UPSC might focus on the Assam floods, linking it with the Kaziranga National Park, but the question could be on the Orang National Park and Nameri National Park, focusing on the Karbi Anglong. Karbi Anglong. Please do understand the link. Fine. So here you see Orang National Park. It is the other side of the, this is Brahmaputra river and this is Kaziranga National Park. This green one is Kaziranga National Park. So look at it. Brahmaputra flowing. Then Bangladesh gets into Bangladesh. So you have Manas Wildlife Sanctuary here. Please do focus this. This is why I have taken this is in regards to the geography map based question. There could be a possibility that UPSC might focus on trying to make sure that you from north to, or else from Arunachal Pradesh, from Assam to again Arunachal Pradesh and further to Bhutan, linking it with Assam. So enter. So you have Dibru Saikhowa National Park, and then Kaziranga National Park, Orang National Park, and then Manas Wildlife Sanctuary. And we also have Ulangapar Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary. Generally call it as Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary. Gibbon is also in Assam. Gibbon. So these are all very, very important for the geography map based in regards to the wildlife sanctuary, national parks and tiger reserves. Please do focus on this for the prelims point of view. And these are all very useful information. And I've said here the Orang National Park. So here it is mainly to provide connectivity to Orang and Nameri. So where is Nameri? We will look at. And this is the Kaziranga. Yes. So we were talking about Nagaon district and then Sonitpur districts, wherein from these two districts the 30.53 square kilometers would be added to the existing Kaziranga National Park. So this is Kaziranga National Park and this is Brahmaputra river, and then the Nameri National Park is here. Please do understand, Nameri National Park. We have looked it in the previous image, the Orang National Park, and this is Nameri National Park. So what they do is they, the deer and then in regards to the rhino, all this, once the flooding happens in the Kaziranga National Parks, they take their shelter refuge in Orang National Park and then the Nameri National Park. And now the 30.53 square kilometers addition is from which two districts? Sonitpur district and Nagaon district. Please look at, one is the other side, both are on the different banks of the river Brahmaputra. North of Brahmaputra river is Sonitpur district, south of Brahmaputra river is Nagaon district. So this is important for or useful for you in regards to the geography map based in regards to the national parks. And you have another news which talks about RBI alters priority sector norms. So what you need to focus is the priority sector norms, that is guidelines. So the keyword here is RBI altering in the sense changing, amending the priority sector guidelines. For whom? For the startups and for the farmers. Why? To avail loans. So ultimately, the priority sector guidelines for the startups and the farmers, wherein RBI has amended or changed, is to avail loans for the startups and the farmers. So it is priority sector lending norms. Priority sector lending norms have been altered. And what is that now, which is the altered one for the priority sector lending for the startups and for the farmers, is that the government or the bank, the Apex Bank, will go ahead with the 50 crore rupees, the finance, it will finance 50 crore rupees to the startups and the farmers, for the startups and the farmers. And why this 50 crores rupees will be a part of the amount which will be part of the loans to the farmers and the startups is for the solar power plants and for setting up of compressed biogas. Please do understand, it is for the installation of solar power plants for solarization of grid connected agricultural pumps. So why this solar power plants? It is for grid. Which grid is that? It is in regards to the solarization. That means the grid, when you have that grid, so that grid will be solarized. That means the electricity will be solar power, and that grid will be connected to what? To the agricultural pumps. That power will be used for the agricultural pumps in the agriculture. Please do, by the farmers. Please do understand this. Yes, definitely, Harika Yadav. From the or through the Kaziranga National Park, there is a national highway which is passing through the Kaziranga National Park. Absolutely said. Very well said, Harika. That is why there are cases which are reported that we have seen previously the incidents of accidents to the animal or animal accidents because of the heavy vehicles moving across the Kaziranga National Parks on the national highway. So this is in regards to solarization of the grid, and that solarization of the grid will be connected to the pumps which will be used to the agriculture purpose by the farmers. So that is one, and the other one is setting up of compressed biogas plants. So setting up of the compressed biogas plants, and this will be included as a fresh categories eligible for finance under priority sector loans. So now what has been amended or altered to the priority sector lending is that they have added the solar power plants. Please do understand, they have added the solar power plants and the compressed biogas plants which the farmers and the startups can avail the loans. And what is the total amount by the government? That is 50 crores of rupees. So this is important. You need to know which among the following have been added, included as a fresh categories eligible for finance under the priority sector lendings is the question in the prelims examination. So it is the solar power plants and then the compressed biogas plants. Compressed biogas plants. And in regards to the priority sector lending guidelines, there are two, that is they wanted to, that is RBI. Who are providing these guidelines? RBI. No doubt RBI is providing. So RBI wanted to target whom? Small and marginal farmers and weaker sections. So their target is whom? Their targets are small and marginal farmers and weaker sections, so that they can avail the loans. And the second one is the higher credit limit. So the RBI wanted to go ahead with the higher credit limit, and that has been specified for whom? Specified for the farmer producer organization or the farmers producers companies. So higher credit limit would be specified to the farmer producer organization, FPOs, or farmer producers companies. So you need to know the guidelines. First is they have gone ahead with, they have added the solarized power plants, and then the compressed biogas plants, and then the targets to the target is for small and marginal farmers and weaker sections. And then they wanted to go ahead with giving higher credit limit to whom? To the farmer producer organization and to the farmers producers companies. And they wanted to go ahead with the loan limits. They wanted to double the loan limits. The RBI wanted to double the loan limits to which? To the renewable energy. These are all very important because look at it. It is targeting the startups and the farmers, and these two concepts or the topics are very useful for prelims and mains examinations. Farmers, agriculture sector. Please do understand that the importance why I am stressing on this, so that you will not miss it. And the farmers, and then the startups. Why? Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme. So there are two areas wherein you can focus, that is Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan scheme and then the agriculture sector wise, economy wise, or economy, from economy point of view and from the welfare schemes point of view. This has to be focused. So the loan limit has been doubled for the renewable energy, and this RBI revision, that is the priority sector guidelines, will incentivize. What do you mean by incentivize? It will motivate, it will encourage. What it will encourage and motivate? It will motivate and encourage the credit flow. So it will encourage and motivate the credit flow to whom or for which segments? It will increase the credit flow to the segments of clean energy, weaker sections, health infrastructure, and to the credit deficit geographies. That means wherever the credit is low in regards to the various regions or localities geographically, there they will focus of increasing the credit flow for the segments, that is in regards to the clean energy segment, and then to the weaker sections, and to the health infrastructure, and for the credit deficit geographies. And this again could be directly the guidelines issued, and this could be the short notes for your mains examination. So look at it, how we can focus on various keywords and then link it with economy and then in regards to the welfare schemes. And this is part of the RBI's priority sector lendings guidelines. You never know, there could be a question on in the prelims on the priority sector lending itself, on this concept or this topic in economy for prelims point of view. There could be directly a question on the priority sector lendings. Then you do not get confused why this question was asked. It was asked because RBI has revised the priority sector lending guidelines. So that is why you need to focus the dynamic part of economy. Right? So I hope you are understanding the importance of linking one topic to another topic. And the question for the day is the absence of questionnaire and the shorter of 0R. The absence of questionnaire and the shorter, that means the 0R which was 1 hour, they are reducing at least 30 minutes. Restricts the ability of the member of parliament to hold the government accountable and represent public interest. This is very, very, very important, question. The absence of questionnaire, the shorter. The absence and the shorter. Reduction. Absence of questionnaire and the shorter of 0R. Restricts. So the keywords, I am writing here the keywords. First you need to understand the keywords in the question. Restricts the ability of whom? The member of parliament to hold the government accountable and represent public interest. So who are MPs? They are public representatives. So they have to look at the public interest and they have to protect the interest of the public in the parliament through the various discussion methods. And when the government, that is Lok Sabha Secretariat, has come up with a new schedule for the monsoon session, they have removed the questionnaire and then they shorter the 0R, and this we have discussed, and this is important that you need to write the answer. So the absence of questionnaire and the shorter 0R restricts the ability of members of parliament to hold the government accountable and represent the public interest. Comment. So please do comment on it. So this is a question for the mains. And I would say once again that if you look at today's editorial, whatever we have discussed last 2 days have been part of the editorial. So we have discussed about this questionnaire and 0R. It is in the editorial. And we have discussed in regards to the apps, ban of apps. Chinese apps which were banned, and there I was talking about information technology, section 69A, and then rules of information technology 2009. I was talking about 2019. So that is also in the editorial. So you have 1, 2, both you have it there. Fine. So definitely we are in the right track. AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis is in the right track. So whatever we discuss in the Daily News Analysis would be, whatever we discuss and analyze, it would be further in your editorials. You can check today's editorials in Hindu. You have 3 topics what we have discussed. And we will just recapitulate what we have gone ahead in the Daily News Analysis. So this is in regards to the IR we discussed, in regards to the scope, IR dynamic part, and also static part I did explain. And then in regards to the Supreme Court has rejected the minister's plea, and the students flee also. And India's COVID, this is in regards to the health point of view or based on the science and technology. And Kaziranga National Park, again this is in regards to the ecology and environment we are focused, which is very important for prelims as well as mains point of view. Prelims because it is, you have this dynamic part of it, and in regards to the mains I was talking about the reasons why they have added, so that you can take it as the short notes for the mains examinations. And this is in regards to the economy point of view, in regards to the priority sector lending norms or guidelines. So these are in regards to the startups and in regards to the farmers. So I would say that this session was a very helpful one, informative one, and knowledgeable session, that is daily news analysis at AKS IAS Academy. So I would thank you and a very good luck for you. And success is simple. Do what's right, the right way, and the right time. So what's right you need to know, right way you need to know, right time you need to know, and then success will follow. And then I would say good luck and thank you to all. And please do not forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the IAS AKS IAS English channel, which I have been saying it repeatedly since a week. And then do visit the website of AKS IAS Academy also, and then do subscribe the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy also. And in regards to the daily news analysis, we would meet again on Monday 7:30 a.m. Monday 7:30 a.m. and I would once again repeat the way I do it daily and now also, that please do maintain consistency throughout your preparation, and then stick to your schedule throughout your preparation, and then do take care of your physical health and mental health. And then I would say a big thank you and then good luck. And then thank you all for your wishes on the Teachers Day. And I would also wish you down from my heart that let success follow in your future endeavors. Thank you all. And Praveen Kumar also had said Happy Teachers Day to you, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you all. Praveen says, thank you for your good explanation. Thank you very much. So I would say once again, you are in the safe hands at AKS IAS Academy, daily news analysis by me, that is Sandeep Bhushan Tumala. Because I would say it with a very utmost determination and a high grit, that the analysis at AKS IAS Academy, daily news analysis at AKS IAS Academy is definitely informative, knowledgeable, and in tune. It is attuned to UPSC, the way it will ask questions or frame questions. So thank you. Happy weekend. Do not waste much of your time. And then see you again on Monday for daily news analysis at 7:30 a.m.